everyone, this is Chris, and you're watching a special One Cross Radio short. So I should say this is One Cross Video. And today we are rejoined by not my brother from another mother, my brother from the same mother, David Cooke.
Same mother.
Dave, how you doing today?
Pretty good, you?
Doing all right. And we are going to keep this rapid fire because we are doing an OCR short. And for those that don't follow on Instagram, the video's got like a 15-minute time limit. And originally I was going to record this solo, but I mentioned it to Dave, and he's like, "Hey, I want to talk starships. It's been a while since I've been able to geek out with someone, and Dave's like my go-to person to nerd out about Star Trek with. So that's why we're here. And today we are ranking the in some order,
the Enterprises,
the USS Enterprises, and there's been several of them. So before we get into it, and we'll go through in chronological order, except for this one. Number 10 by default is the Enterprise J. It was hinted at in the show Enterprise, where we only saw a picture of what it would look like, and it looks awful. There's been some wonderful artist renderings where you're like, wow, okay, that actually looks better, but it's still number 10.
Yeah, it's ugly. We don't like it. It's bad. We're done talking about it.
Basically, even though artist renderings make it look slightly better, it's still not good. All right, so now we'll move into chronological releases, and we can share where these make our lists. So next up we have, from the show Enterprise, the NX-01.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Dave, how would you where would you put this? What do you like about the NX?
Oh, I love it. Okay, my favorite thing about it is that it looks almost exactly like an upside down Akira class, which is the ship that you don't see until I think the Dominion War. And I really like that design, and this one looks similar but just kind of different. So it's neat to have this precursor to the Akira that's 200 years early. And then presumably, theoretically, in universe, the designers of the Akira were like, hey, remember the NX-01? I like the shape. It's a nice shape. It's kind of a low profile when you're looking at it from the front, because it's relatively, I guess, short, you could say. It's not very tall. It's a nice design. I like it. It's my second favorite. I rank it 2. So
dang.
I like that ship.
That's fair. It is my number 6 overall. I too like the saucer section. I like the distinct front of the saucer section, because every Enterprise, it's normally just like your standard oval or an egg or a circle, whereas the front of this, it's there up to a point, and then it's almost got like this sudden horizontal input, makes it distinct. I like that it goes back to the nacelles, but then the nacelles almost have a little bridge between them. That makes it stand out a little bit by itself. I really, really like the look of it. It ranks number 6 overall for me. There is a cool refit that I'll give an honorable mention that would have been in what could have been season 5 of Enterprise if Enterprise hadn't had the fate that it did. I'll include viewer, you're looking at a picture of it now, and if we drop the audio later, well, listener, just look up.
It's nice.
It's worth looking it up. All right, so next up we have the OG NC 1701, the original Enterprise. I'll start this off first, just because I let you go last time. This is my least favorite, which I know I'm pissing off the Trekkies. But I know. It's my number 9.
Every Trekkie over the age of 50 is furious with you right now.
Well, listen, come at me, you Roddenberry fanboys who are going to be like, oh no, it's not up to a standard. All the best Star Trek is after Roddenberry, son. Fight me. But okay, jokes aside, as much as I do like the NCC, the original 1701, my fonder memories of it come from the A. The A was introduced in the 5th movie, which is the worst movie, but it looks almost identical to the refit of the ship that we got in the motion picture. So all my favorite memories of the 1701 are of the refit. When I look at the one from TOS, the length of the neck between the saucer section and the engineering section is too long. It's just later ships look busier and they make sense. This is just a lot of open gray space, and it doesn't inspire a lot for me. The A later adds like a torpedo section that's on the refit, and I just group it with the A. So overall, I'm just I like it. I like what it represents, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I used to be in a similar camp where I wasn't so huge of a fan of it, and part of it is lack of exposure. I have yet to watch all of TOS. I plan on fixing that, but I mean, you got me for my birthday a model of the NCC 1701, and I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, that's my least favorite Enterprise of like the good ones. And like, it's beautiful. It has like a simple elegance to it.
Well,
and like, it's so sleek. Like, it's gorgeous. I love it.
The model of the ship is better than the ship in the show.
Well, I mean, in fairness, the show was made like forever ago. So.
Well, that's fair, but it looks better than the CG. That wasn't so old. And that's the thing. If I was basing it on the model, it would rank higher. But if I'm basing it just on the show and the CG, I'm just like, you know what? It doesn't stand out as well as other ones do. It's not my least favorite Star Trek ship by any means. And I get that it's borderline sacrilege. But I'm just like, the A in the movie and the refit look better than the one in the show and the other Enterprises. So I do gotta, we're running low on time, so I gotta move forward.
What do you rank it?
So for me, it's number 9. I know that. Okay. I know.
I rank it a 5. So it's like, it's the bottom of like the top half of them. There we go.
That's fair. The next one we'll talk about is the A, and I don't really feel I need to expand on it because I just hit it all up in the as we were talking about the Enterprise. Like the refit of the Enterprise that we got in the motion picture is basically the Enterprise A. The Enterprise A is just a slightly more streamlined version of that, and it enhances what was from the show. Like when I look at pictures of the Enterprise from the show, there's a lot of empty space. The A adds on to that. The nacelles look better. The shade of gray is nicer. The blue in the engineering section is sweet. Yeah. The neck is slimmer. Or the saucer section and the engineering section are closer together, so it's not just this empty space with a non-busy neck. The neck has a torpedo launcher now, so it's like actually good use space. The A is much better for me. It's like when I think of classic Enterprise, I think of the A, and the A actually is number 5 on my list.
That's okay. All right. I have it as number 7. It's a nice ship. I really like the nacelles. I just find there's not much to dislike about it. I mean, really, let's be clear. With the exception of the J, I like pretty much all of them for the most part. It's just varying degrees. None of these
are ones I hate except the A.
Yeah.
Sorry, not the A, except the J.
The nacelles are beautiful, but I feel like they're maybe a little too big for the ship overall, if I had to nitpick.
That's fair. All right, so before we go chronologically further, let's divert to the Kelvin timeline. So we have the Kelvin timeline, 1701 Enterprise. That one ranks very high for me. It is number 3 on my list. It's what kind of prompted this conversation with you in a way, where I'm like, it takes the iconic look of the 1701, it hot rods it up. To me, it improves it. I describe it as sexy. It is visually beautiful. It's my number 3.
It looks gorgeous from the front. Again, if I had to nitpick, the deflector dish, that blue thing at the front of the engineering, is a little bit too far forward of the neck. But it's still, I really like it. It's my number 4. So
it lifts a lot from the again, when it's got the nacelles of the it lifts inspiration, at least front-wise, nacelles of the show Enterprise, but structurally, especially the torpedo spot in the neck, it's lifting from the refit and the A, and I think it's good.
Yeah.
I got to include the A from, we got it for like 45 seconds from the end of Star Trek Beyond. For me, it's more or less, it looks exactly like the 1701, and it's also like, listener, when Dave and I started to do this conversation, we had like a 5-minute thing where we're like, the refit is the A, and I'm like, no, it's not. It looks almost the exact same, but it's because of blah blah blah. And that's basically the same thing with the Kelvin A and the Kelvin regular. There's not too much difference, except for a slight difference in the structure of the nacelles. If we're getting a 4th Kelvin film, so if we get more of the A, it might win me over more. It's currently my number 8, the Kelvin A, whereas the Kelvin proper Enterprise is my number 3. Next up,
my Kelvin A, I've got that as 9. Like, it's fine.
That's fair.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It like, even though we saw the TOS and the TOS regular more, the Kelvin A, just aesthetically, I'm like, oh, that's still more beautiful to me. Next up, we have the B, which we saw briefly in Generations, and it is more or less like the Excelsior that we got from the
it's an Excelsior class.
It's an Excelsior class. There's not much to really say about it.
I love it.
Look of it.
It's my favorite. Yeah. It's my favorite. It's
really?
The best. Yeah, I love the Excelsior. The Excelsior class, I don't know. There's just something. There's something beautiful about it. I really like the Excelsior class. And so, I mean, the B's an Excelsior, so I like it. There we go. That's my favorite.
For me, I like the look of it. I put it number 7, but I still I really dig the look of it. It's in a weird way, I describe it as a workhorse. It almost looks like the construction crew Enterprise. Especially, I'd especially say that for the thick neck on that. On her, she's got a very thick neck that at points almost looks like an accordion rack. She's a very big, beautiful ship. Like, out of the other ones, I rank the regular A and all the other preceding letters, except for the J, of course, above her, but I still like her. Next up, we have the C, which we've only seen in one episode, the excellent Next Generation episode.
Oh, fantastic.
Yesterday's Enterprise. Dave, the video's frozen, but we're still going to record.
Awesome.
So I'll quickly, we got to wrap this up soon just because we're running low on time. The C, I really like the look of it. You can really see how we got from the B to what we get in the show with the D. It's a perfect, it's a bridge ship. It's a
perfect intermediate between the B and the D.
Yeah, it shows how we got there. It really does. Yeah. It's that perfect middle step evolution. I love the look of it. I, in some ways, prefer this to the D, but I've got more attachment to the D, the Enterprise D, so that's where it's still ranking above it. The C is overall number 4 on my list.
Wow. I rank it an 8. Again, there's nothing I dislike about it. I just don't love it as much as I love everything else. Like, it's like, pick, rank your favorite children. Like,
I can get that. All right. Next up is the Enterprise we actually had the most time with, the Enterprise D, which I believe was at points in production nicknamed the Turkey. Almost. And this is the one we got from Star Trek, all 7 seasons of The Next Generation and the first film, Generations.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice ship. I like it. I'm attached to it because, we saw so much of it in TNG. It's a fine ship. It's pretty. I like it. It's number 6.
That's fair. For me, it's number 2 just because of my love of TNG
That's
and
fair.
so many classic Star Trek episodes where it features prominently.
Yeah, we just ignore the part where the saucer separates, right?
I actually like the idea of the saucer separating. It's
so
like,
dumb.
well, I get it. It's just it could have been executed better.
Yeah.
What I don't like about it is mostly like when you look at what they were going for, which is more or less like a family cruise ship, but
Yeah.
also a science vessel in space, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. But it's just also then like it's huge. The saucer section is debatably too big. There's certain pictures and angles you see it at where you're like, oh, like really? But
yeah, that's fair.
It works. Like the size. I like the size of the neck because you're like that could support such a huge head. And it's flat and all that. It's from one of my second favorite Star Trek show, so it's got that nostalgia. So for me, it's number 2, and then we come to the final one of the alphabet, at least aside from the J. We have the Enterprise E, first debuted in Star Trek First Contact. It's debatably the TNG movie Enterprise, again, exception for Generations, where we got it in First Contact, Insurrection, and Nemesis. Dave, where does the E sit for you?
It's my number 3. It's a beautiful ship. I love it. It's great. It's exceeded only by the NX-01 and the B in terms of, my favorite ship designs. It's like everything that you love about the D, but they're like, how can we like slim this down and just make this look like a beautiful ship? Yeah. So it's a great continuation of the D, but just like, is it like, it's just like, like slimmed down is the best way to phrase it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. I will actually agree, although in my spot, I rank this number 1. This is when I think of the USS Enterprise, I think of the E. I think of like First Contact is my go-to Star Trek movie, especially of the TNG films. The E is very much like, I love the look of it. One, it's just so aesthetically pleasing. It's sleek. It looks gorgeous. It is a natural continuation from the Enterprise D. And like visually, but also in story wise, it makes sense because in Star Trek around the time that they would have made it, this would have been going on with like they were encountering the Borg more. There was the Dominion War. Like, so they were scaling this back to like, even though it's a science vessel, it is more, it can function more as a battleship. So it's going to remove all that space that would have been for that family residence in hotel in space. It streamlines it. It slinks it down. The shape of the saucer section is much slimmer. The neck is tiny. It almost looks like the saucer goes right into the body. The engineer, like everything. This is my favorite Enterprise, bar none.
It's beautiful.
It's just beautiful. Like, of course, what my generation of Trek was next gen, but still, I'm like, man, if it's not even a contest for me between the E and the D. The E is just absolutely gorgeous. It is my go-to Enterprise. So let's just quickly do this. I think I might be we're beyond 15, but Instagram might let me get it in. So here, let's quickly run through our list again. So from worst to best, and I'll add in again, listener, I still like the original Enterprise. It's just aesthetic. I don't have the attachment to it that I do with the other stuff. Because my attachment to the original era of Trek is more so through the movies than the show. So in number 10 is the J. Even with better artistic rendering, it looks bad. That's my number 10.
We don't like it.
10. Yeah. My number 9 is the TOS 1701. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is the Kelvin 1701A.
All right. My number 8 is my Kelvin timeline number A. What's your number 8?
The C.
All right. My number 7 is the B.
The A.
My number 6 is the NX01.
My number 6 is the D.
My number 5 is the A.
My number 5 is the 1701, the OG.
All right. My number 4 is the C.
My number 4 is the Kelvin.
That's fair. My number 3 is the Kelvin.
My number 3 is the E.
My number 2 is the D.
My number 2 is the NX01.
All right. And my number 1 is the E.
And my number 1 is the NCC 1701B.
All right. So, dear listener, and actually more so viewer, dear viewer, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, even though unfortunately the video froze on Dave's end like 7
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but whatever.
Yeah, but it really works because you do look really excited when we start talking about the bees. So it works perfect.
The bees were beautiful.
Well, there we go. She's a beautiful ship. And dear listener, viewer, we will be back. We'll be doing stuff with Dave more as things go. At some point, he and I will be doing a Star Wars episode and visiting our Unmade series, looking at unmade Star Trek properties. So I'm excited to do that with Dave. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Trekkies, please don't at us. These are personal opinions. And as much as I joke at Roddenberry's expense, I enjoy Roddenberry Trek as well.
But also you can tell us your rankings. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Please tell me the rankings. Just don't yell at me like Star Wars fans do. And I'm part of that fandom. I want our fandoms to calm down. And I do want us to be able to happily say, look, I like the 1701 from TOS. I just find the other ships more, I just enjoy the other ships more. That doesn't invalidate my opinion. Just like as much as I love the E, if the E is your least favorite, guess what? I still consider your opinion valid. I might think you're wrong, but I'm not going to question the validity of your opinion. Now, if you say the J is the best, then no, I'm kidding. All right. So all that being said, we hope you enjoyed today's video. Dave, thanks for joining.
Yeah, no problem.
Viewer, hope you enjoyed. Let us know your rankings. Have a wonderful day, and God bless, my friends. Peace.